Phil, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We're going to start with this there. If you were Stephen Kenny, what would your 11 be?
Yeah, like it's a tough one because I was very encouraged from what I saw of the 21s on Friday. There's a definite plan and there's definitely the real
good coaching as well.
Yeah, the real problem we've had with the senior team over the last few years is midfield, where I don't buy into this that we don't have players that can play football. We do, but they're not encouraged to get on the ball and actually make things happen. And sometimes you just see the fullback gets the ball, plays it down the channel, try and squeeze the opposition and force them into a mistake. Whereas we actually, a bit of planning, we can actually get players on the ball to start moves, and this is stuff you can work on. But it just hasn't happened. Whereas if a player doesn't want to show for the ball, it's up to the manager to get on their back and say, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, you're in the team.
As I said, these are like, we've got players that play in the Premier League or they play in the Championship regularly. They're able to do it for their clubs. Why aren't they doing it at an international level?
Okay, so give us who you think.
I think the back four, like obviously Randolph is nailed on. I can't really remember Randolph having a bad game for Ireland since he was subbed in the Germany game. Even that night, we didn't even expect him. We thought it was going to be David Ford.
Yeah.
So Randolph came in and actually had a major hand in the Shane Long goal.
An assist.
Yeah, it got down as an assist. So Seamus Coleman, we've had the Seamus Coleman Matt Doherty debate, but Coleman's playing regularly now at the moment. Doherty's kind of in and out. He's had a few injuries. Duffy and Co works for me. I'm happy enough with that. And Enda Stevens, I know, had a tough enough first half, but he is a player that plays for a team week in, week out, where when he gets the ball, he's got options. At the moment, you could see him getting frustrated in the first half against Switzerland where there's no one showing for him, so he dwells on it or he has to get rid of it, and it makes him look bad, but he's a good footballer. You ask a Sheffield United fan, he's been one of their best players for the last couple of seasons.
He's definitely come on leaps and bounds in the time that he was at Villa.
Absolutely.
What has happened to Kieran Clark? Is he just not playing football?
Yeah, he kind of fell out of favour with Rafa Benitez, and he's picked up injuries. Seems to be he picks up little niggles here and there, but Rafa Benitez then froze him out, and he hasn't really
needs a move.
He needs a move. Like you have to be playing football.
Yeah.
And you just played a video there of Jack Byrne, and he's playing football week in, week out, and people say, oh, it's just the League of Ireland, but he's happy and he's playing. I'm looking forward to seeing him get some game time tonight, and it's his chance to shine. And you have to, like, I thought Jeff Hendrick actually played well in the first half against Switzerland.
Hendrick, in the press conference pre-game, said he had seen all the criticism that he wasn't the same player he was in the Euros.
Is what he said, yeah.
But he hadn't played in the same position as he played in the Euros. Was his defence of that?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
He's played in a few different positions where sometimes he's played on the right-hand side, sometimes he's been asked to play in a more advanced role, sometimes he's been asked to play in a sitting role. But
where was he playing in the Euros?
He was playing we started with McCarthy in midfield. Hendrick was there. Obviously Wes, you think of the Sweden game.
Yeah.
He was very good in that game. Wes started that game. See, Wes Hoolan made everyone look even better because Wes was the player that was willing to get on the ball, and sure, he gave it away. I've no problem with a player giving it away because they take a few risks. So when I always felt as well, Robbie Brady's game excelled when Wes played as well, because they look at someone and they go, well, he's doing it, I'm going to try it, and Hendrick did that. But now we've regressed.
So who is your Wes in, if you're picking his team right now?
I don't think we have a Wes at the moment. I think
Callum Robinson is probably the closest possible thing.
Yeah, and I'd probably play Callum Robinson. Like, I'm trying to think of formations. Like, I like O'Dowd on the right because he has that ability to cut in and give Seamus Coleman space to kind of run into down the right-hand side. Josh Cullen is starting week in, week out for Charlton in the Championship. He's played every game for them in the Championship, and they're second in the Championship. They're a team going well. And
where does he play?
He plays central midfield, so he's probably going to feature tonight. He's certainly got to be an option. I thought Alan Brown was tearing it up for Preston. Now, he's not a regular for Preston anymore. He's only started 2 of their 6 championship games. as I said, what was notable watching Hendrik, he definitely gassed out in the second half against Switzerland. I thought he was very good in the first half, breaking play up, linking things up, but
That's match fitness.
match fitness. He said like he's doing his own bit and he's trying to play reserve games, but you can't replicate first team football, the intensity that brings. So you've like the problem for me is always going to be that central midfield. Do you want to play a 4-5-1? Do you want to play a 4-3-3, a 4-4-2? If you play a 4-4-2, will you get exposed if you don't have somebody sitting in there? I thought Glenn Whelan was very good against Switzerland, but if we're going to progress and the style is going to progress, we're going to have to move on from that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not the ambition of the current management team, is to just get to the tournament.
That's exactly, that is Mick's.
That's his job.
That's what he's been brought in to do. Get us to the Euros. We've got games here. We want to be part of this party.
The trouble is that you're actually more likely to get there if you're trying to be progressive, as opposed to here's a midfield that hasn't really worked for us that often in the past.
Well, we've 3 games left in the group. We can't really try anything new. Like, he's going to try Conor Howerton tonight, but there's a good chance once Matt Doherty is fit, he'll play left back against Georgia.
Do you believe Mick McCarthy that he's going to play Conor Howerton at left back?
Well, who are the other options? You've got like James McLean has played there.
Stevens.
He's gone back to the club.
He's suspended
for the Georgia game.
Yeah. So you got the second yellow against Switzerland. So Matt Doherty and Mick McCarthy referenced it in his press conference yesterday, the bit that wasn't embargo till late last night, that Doherty has played as a left back for Wolves for a couple of seasons before they got their Portuguese influence, that he was a left back, so he can play there, and we can and that was something that was an idea that was floated around when we were talking about having to play Coleman and Doherty, try and get both into the team. So I can understand why he goes with Stevens, gives you more balance as a natural left footer. But as I said, my worry is that central midfield. Aaron Connolly was so good on Friday night. Like, obviously Troy Parrott scored the goal, but Connolly made it. He was that good that...
Here's your team here.
I think if you put him in, if you put Connolly in there...
Now.
He'll, like... He certainly wouldn't be out of his depth. Now, people probably thinking, where's James McLean? McLean is your impact sub, where you need somebody to get the crowd going with half an hour to go. Stephen Hunt used to do it brilliantly under Trapattoni, where you'd see Hunty waiting to come on, and within a minute he'd have kicked somebody, he'd have won a free.
But everybody was awake.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like it was every time. And it became a thing where he was just having that much of an influence that Trapattoni couldn't leave him out of the starting 11. But McLean kind of showed with the goal last week that why he's in the team, because he's our fittest player. If all our players had the engines of James McLean, we would be able to press teams for 90 minutes. But unfortunately, James McLean is a fitness freak, and we don't have that. But Troy Parrott we didn't think that he was going to start on Friday. Kind of sounded like Stephen Kenny was protecting him, but he clinical finish. But it was made by Connolly, and Mick referenced Malumbi and Connolly as the two that stood out, but Connolly in particular, I just thought he definitely looks like he's going to get more game time at Brighton as well. So I'd love to see him. And said after watching Friday, I definitely felt a lot more optimistic about things going forward.
All right, and they're playing tonight in a big game.
Yeah, they're away to Sweden at 5:30. So that's a chance to make it 3 wins from 3. Now, you're in this strange situation where they could start the campaign brilliantly, and then Stephen Kenny's gone to finish off the campaign. He comes in to take the senior job.
In the middle of it.
So towards the Euro 2021.
You could leave the rest of that coaching ticket in place to do that, so that there's continuity there.
Yeah, but the whole situation is crazy. The fact that Mick could get us to the Euros and then he'd be gone. He effectively, thanks very much, you got us there, but you're sacked now. But
you're not sacked. Your contract has run out, and we gave you a 2-year deal, and you knew at the start what the terms were. But
the Stephen Kenny appointment, that looks like the most positive thing, where people kind of thought, why not give him the senior job straight away? But there is actually a good principle in place here where
Learn the ropes, see what the rhythms of international stuff are like.
He's going
Meet the
to
club managers now.
nourish these young players, and then when he calls them up to the senior level, say, right lads, just do what you did for me at under 21s.
Yeah.
Play the same way.
Now,
And
it didn't work for Brian Kerr.
no, because unfortunately, I was only just thinking about this. So he comes in for, it's a World Cup campaign, and he starts throwing in a few youngsters, and things don't go well. Like, you know, somebody gets caught in the ball. It's like, what are you doing playing out from the back, that kind of thing. But you have to hold your nerve. You have to just say, look, this is the way we want to play now. We've had enough of this. Kick it into the corner and chase it up and try and force the other teams into making mistakes.
I know that's we all grew up watching that. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Didn't kill us. Well,
No, but we did have better players.
It killed us.
We did.
It was a disaster.
We had better players back
What have you
then.
got for us this morning in sports news?
Okay, well, obviously that game tonight, which I can see you have the tickets for there. It's 7:45 kickoff, Ireland Bulgaria. So there is going to be plenty of changes. You mentioned Conor Howard set to start as left back. David McGoldrick and Callum Robinson are both unavailable. So Luton striker James Collins will make his debut. Could also see Mark Travers, Jack Byrne and Josh Cullen get a first taste of international football at senior level. And just going back on last night's games, Northern Ireland lost 2-0 to Germany at Windsor Park.